What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's video I'm gonna go through which players I think that you could get in your team when you transfer out De Bruyne or Salah. Because we got some news that De Bruyne is gonna be out for 4 to 6 weeks due to an injury. And a lot of people are talking about transferring out Salah due to his really poor form recently, as well as Liverpool's poor form. Liverpool haven't scored a goal this year, 2021, and Salah hasn't scored or made an assist, I think, in 5 games or something. So his form is really poor, and a lot of people like me had him as their captain in game week 19, and he only got 4 points in total, which is terrible. And my brother actually triple captained him, 12 points. It's just insane. So today I'm going to go through the players that I think that you should probably look at if you want to transfer one of these, or maybe both of them for your team. And the first most obvious choice is Bruno Fernandes. Obviously a lot of you already have him because the ownership is 54.1%. But he is the most obvious choice, and he's the player that if you don't have him, I would definitely get him in your team. He's the main man in United. He has struggled a little bit recently with scoring, but he got an assist in the last game. The game before that he didn't get anything. It was 0-0 against Liverpool. But he plays well, and he gets his chances, he gets his shots on target, and whenever he does score, he usually gets bonus points. And there's also on penalties. So he is the main man, and he's also a really good captain option for the next game against Sheffield United. And then they play Arsenal. Not the easiest game right now, with Arsenal improving defensively. And then they have Southampton at home, which have been, a couple of weeks ago, I would say was a very difficult game, but recently Southampton haven't been as good as before, so it's a little bit, it's not the worst game for United, actually pretty good. And I think long term United have some good fixtures, so I think Fernandes is a great option. The next one is Heung-min Son. Also a player that I think long term would be good to have, because Tottenham has some pretty good fixtures. If you look at the fixtures that I put here on the screen, I made both Liverpool and Chelsea grey fixtures instead of red fixtures, because I think right now I think Liverpool are a bit like shaky, and I think that Tottenham could hurt them in their game against them. If you watch Burnley got a lot of chances, and they were kind of lucky not to score more than 1 goal. Even though Liverpool, of course, should have scored at least 1 goal as well. But I think that on the counterattacks, with Heung-min Son being so quick and so good at counterattacks, I think that he could definitely get an opportunity to score against Liverpool. And he did score in the last game against them. And he's just the kind of guy who he only needs like 1 or 2 chances to score, because he's very clinical. His ownership is quite high, which is also, if you don't have him, it might be good to have him in your team, because if he does well, then it might hurt your rank. But Fernandes and Heung-min Son are 2 most obvious choices in my opinion, if you don't already have them. This one is a little bit more interesting. Gündogan, 5.5 million, 5.2% ownership. I made a video last week of players you should get, differentials and stuff, and or players you should target, and he had 1.6% ownership, I think, at that point, so he's really growing in ownership. People are really getting in their eyes open for this guy, and that's because he keeps scoring. He has 5 goals in 7 games, and if you watch the last game with City, he took the penalty in the end of the game when De Bruyne was out. So with Sterling missing his penalty last time, and De Bruyne now out with injury for at least 4 to 6 weeks, what it looks like, Gündogan might keep the penalty spot, and he also scores from open play. Like he really gets into positions to get shots, and he scores. He has a really good shot on him, and with the added penalties, I think that he is a good option. A lot of people are hyping him right now, and some people think that he's sitting a little bit deep in the formation at least, and it's more of a defensive midfielder. But if you watch him play, he really gets forward, so I think that he is a good option for having another City midfielder instead of De Bruyne, because I think players like Mahrez, Foden, Silva, even Sterling, I think that all of them are, even though I think Sterling will play a lot, I think the other ones are rotation risks. Gündogan not so much. He seems like he is playing every game. And Sterling, I just don't trust him. He doesn't look good when he's playing. I don't think. Like he doesn't really get into the positions, and he misses a lot. Like I wouldn't go for Sterling myself, but I can see that people do it. And also, if you look at the fixtures for City, they have really good fixtures. West Bromwich away, Sheffield United at home, and Burnley away. I obviously wouldn't captain Gündogan in any game, because even though he looks good right now, he's not like one of the top players that you want to captain. Maybe if you want to go for a punt and take a risk, but I wouldn't captain him in any of these games. But they are really good games for City, and I think that he's a great option. The next pair, I would say, is James Maddison or Harvey Barnes. The reason why I put both of them is because myself, I'm gonna get one of them, but I can't choose which one. I think if you look at how they play and like the underlying stats, Barnes looks more like a threat. He gets into better positions, he takes more shots, he shoots from distance. While Maddison, he might be a little bit more clinical, and he's also on set pieces, so that's a factor to consider. Another factor to consider is that Barnes is cheaper, and he also has lower ownership. So it depends what you weight. Do you want like a little bit more of a differential, a little bit cheaper, who also seems like he has more potential to score? Or a player that takes more set pieces, maybe have more potential to get assists. Or, I don't know. I think any of these two could be really good. I think most people are going to go for James Maddison. He seems like the obvious choice, but I wouldn't not think about getting Barnes instead, because he's really good. And their fixtures are pretty good as well. Like Everton away is not bad right now, with Everton being kind of shaky lately. They have had a long rest now, so maybe they come back stronger. I'm not sure. We'll see. But Leeds home, really good with Leeds, really counter-attacking team. I think that Leicester will be able to counter-attack as well. And then Fulham, it is a green fixture right now, but Fulham are improving a lot, so it's not the easiest, but I think the Leicester will be able to score at least one goal. And then we'll see who's in penalties. I think that Tielemans might be on penalties, because he's taken previous ones when Vardy hasn't played. But if Maddison takes the penalties, then maybe Maddison edges it a little bit more. But one of these guys is a great option to go for. I think you would want to have a Leicester player in your team now, because they have some really good fixtures, and they are in a really good form. And the last player I wanna present is Jack Grealish. I have in my team. I had him for a long time. He's dropped a lot in ownership and in price, and he is FPL points wise, he isn't getting as much. He got 3 assists in the last 5 games. FPL assists, I would say, because there was one game with 2 assists. I'm not sure if they were like actual assists or if it was like a shot that rebounded. I can't remember, but he has 3 FPL assists in 5 games. And when you watch him play, he does create a lot. He just doesn't get the FPL points pretty much. But their fixtures are pretty good. They play Newcastle at home. I put Burnley as a grey fixture because Burnley are improving a lot, and they looked really good. Not really good, but they have looked good, and they have Pope in goal, who's really good. So it's not the easiest fixture, and Southampton, we don't really know how they are yet. But the fixtures are pretty good for Aston Villa, and I think the Jack Grealish is a good option. Out of all these, I would probably put them in the rank that I presented them. So Bruno Fernandes, the obvious choice. Son, also another pretty obvious choice. I would probably put Maddison before and Barnes before Gündogan, but Gündogan's a good choice, and Grealish is my 5th option, because I want to see Aston Villa improve that bit before I really would go all in for it. But he is a good option. I think that Aston Villa's fixtures speak for him being a really good option. Thank you so much for watching. Stick around for more videos.